Hey, you know when Jack Easterby is sea walking all over the place, giving his beautiful sermons, he looks like, I don't know if you've ever had an MCL situation, Pat, but we just caught news that Tom Brady played last season with a torn MCL, ended up getting surgery to fix this after the year. Do you have any experience with this with MCLs? I think people get confused between MCL, ACL, PCL, all of this stuff. The ACL is really what gets talked about the most. What is this with the MCL? Do you have any idea?
Okay, so AJ, I'm happy we're getting to talk about this because we're two dudes who probably have 8 to 9 knee surgeries combined between us. I don't know how many you had. How many did you have?
I think 5 or 6.
Jesus. So I had 4. So we got 10 knee surgeries between the two of us. So we happen to know a little bit about the knee. The good thing for me is none of the ligaments ever were damaged for me. And that's what the L's are at the end of the ACL, MCL, PCL, all this shit, right? So I had meniscus issues and patella issues. And the meniscus is like a surgery where they go in and it's, arthroscopic? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Scope is what it's called. It's just quick though. They go in, they kind of clean it up, and then they go out. It's like it could be anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 weeks recovery because there isn't really any structural damage. When the ligaments are damaged, like the MCL, the PCL, the ACL, that's a big fucking deal. The MCL, I think, is the easiest to kind of get around. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know it well enough. And there are some people that don't need their ACLs. There's some people in the NHL that don't even have an ACL. And then there's some bodies most bodies, as soon as the ACL is gone, you can't do anything. So the ligaments are much different than everything else. AJ, do you have any ligament structural damage, or was yours mostly meniscus cleanup, chipping, and everything like that?
Well, it was all of that, but it started with my PCL. I tore my PCL my senior year in high school. That's what goes like front and back, I guess, and helps stabilize. So I was a punter. I think I've told this in the show. Ran a fake punt my first game my senior year, planted my right leg right at the first down marker. Dude went low, blasted my knee straight back. Tore my PCL. So because
Hold on, AJ.
What? Yeah.
What other positions did you play?
I played running back, linebacker, punter, kicked off a little bit, but had to kick off once after a touchdown run. I was dead tired. I yanked that thing about 12 yards, but it went 60 rows deep out of bounds.
That's going to happen, and that's bad field position. That's not what you want at all. But did you get injured in any of those other positions?
No, I don't think I did. Yeah, so my injury was when I was the punter. You're right. What a grueling position.
I got hurt playing punter too. Hey, listen, it happens to the best of us, but go on. I'm sorry I interrupted you there. Punter is a position you can get got. I think that gets forgotten about. But the PCL front to back, MCL is lateral, and then the ACL is through the middle. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the ACL, like the MCL is inside, the LCL is outside, lateral, obviously. Yeah, ACL is the big one that you really need the most. And I guess that you have to usually get fixed, even though you hear stories about people playing with torn ACLs. And for some reason, some people can handle it more than others. But with Tom, I guess you can I've seen it. I'm sure you've been around guys, Pat, that play with a torn MCL. They do like a tape job. There's some special tape job to try to stabilize your knee as much as you possibly can. And then Tom wore a knee brace on top of that.
Yeah, the stabilization also, I think there is I think the stabilization also takes away from the pain that potentially happens from a little bit of a bobble, not just like physical performance ability with the stabilization, but also I think keeping it tight is also getting away from some of the pain. He had to have a painful season. This is not something, I do not want to undersell this. It is not cool to have anything torn in any part of your body. Rob Ninkovich, I think you mentioned this early, Connor. Rob Ninkovich talked about how the MCL, this is something that you can get around. He was more impressed with whenever he busted open his thumb. When was that?
That was in the day before the AFC Championship when Rex Burkhead was taking a handoff.
He busted open his thumb. He had to get stitches. They didn't know what was happening. His throwing hand. He still went out to play. So I'm not saying that Tom Brady isn't incredibly tough, and he's 40-plus years old dealing with all this, which makes it even more impressive. But there have been people in the past that have gone through full seasons, I think, with torn MCLs. It is not cool, the amount of management that has to be involved with that, especially with being a quarterback, being Tom Brady, learning a new system. Insane. More power to him, but that was wild to hear. And then he wins the fucking Super Bowl. Alex Guerrero has to be like, hey, pliability. We're pliable motherfuckers out who win Super Bowls and stuff. New offenses, new homes, COVID. What? Don't give a damn. Give us a torn MCL. We don't care. Eat avocado ice cream. You win a goddamn Super Bowl. That's pretty much what happened there, AJ.
Hey, Diggs, what about you? I know you have a big game tomorrow. Any worry that you may stretch one of those MCLs?
It's almost guaranteed. I'm not going to stretch at all because I figured that's not going to do anything at this point.
I ain't never seen Secretariat stretch.
Exactly.
Al Harris used to say that.
Hey, you think those guys, our greatest generation, when they're running across the beaches in Normandy, they're worried about pulling fucking hamstrings?
Absolutely not.
Cleveland Browns guy.
Yeah,
they won
absolutely
two
not.
world wars. Yeah.